times my group is used to hearing me say, I'm speechless. So that won't work anymore. Thank you, each and every one of you, for sacrificing from whence you came. I understand one of my dearest friends didn't sleep all night for the fact that she thought she would oversleep. And she happens to be 90-some years old. I can't even begin to single out each and every individual here and what have you, but we're paying at least an honor to our matron of honor in St. Augustine, Mrs. Ayers, who happens to be 108 years of age. To October, she will be 109. 110. I'm sorry. 110. I'm a year off. She broke the rules in St. Augustine by giving lodging and support to Al Braunstein, our ACLU lawyer.
Wow.
See, many of the older citizens of St. Augustine were afraid to get into the movement, but she was brave enough to set aside a room for you, which was kind of out of the trend of the citizens, especially the older black citizens. And also, as an adjunct, her husband was an alligator wrestler at the alligator park. There are so many stories and so forth, but now I'm going to take a personal liberty. Seeing my picture over on the wall over there, I understand the young man that drew that was 16 years of age. See, my mother and father are buried in Southside Cemetery here. And my mother always had one little thing for me and a haircut. No parts. So I'm going to see that young man, that 16-year-old young man. See if I can't help my mother from turning over in her bed. Because she said, Robert, you knew I barred you all years from ever having a part. Always had a head full of hair. So that's one of those things. And it's the kind of thing that my first 21 years was spent right here all over the city of Tallahassee. I even pushed a push lawnmower to cut the grass in front of the old Capitol out front. And the black tailor had his office right, his shop right on the side, Mr. Martin. I bathed his dogs and everything else and washed his cars and all, and so forth. And over on this other side, right off, Mr. Peavy had a pressing shop, dry cleaners and pressing and all. And I pressed many pairs of pants and jackets and everything from 6 o'clock in the evening till 12 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And got on my bicycle with a flashlight and the headlight on the bicycle and rode home and made it to school many times for 8 o'clock the next morning. He took care of the 2 girls. But after a certain age of teenage for the boys, my brother and I, and by the way, my brother is 86, and he will be in July. And he has had 5 major operations, so, and triple bypass and all. So I told him he couldn't make this trip. And here my oldest daughter came from Greenville, Mississippi.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you, good people, for giving me those little personal liberties. Or did I take them? No. We have so many other relatives and family members and I don't know whether you say nieces or niece, whatever, who sacrifice as school teachers to take time from their job, to come to be with us here today. And a busload of people from St. Augustine, and Jacksonville, and all, who got up the early part. Oh, Cynthia is saying, stand up, all of those who made all these different sacrifices. Comments and so forth. All of these people here have their own individual stories and sacrifices about their family and their personal experiences for St. Augustine, including 2 young ladies who were sent away to a reformatory school and lost 6 months of their school year and everything else and all. They are here today to tell their story. Dr. Hayling was more than St. Augustine, and St. Augustine was more than Dr. Hayling. Because my first 21 years, I don't know whether it's for a week or many days, that we spent outside of the state of Florida. And I laid claim to 4 generations of Haylings, because my father came to Tallahassee in 1925. So we have 4 generations who put some kind of claim or title, and we have property in Tallahassee and all, and the homestead and everything else. So I can say maybe I came back home. St. Augustine, Cocoa, and now Lauderhill home. And I've made different little family connections there so that they include me as a member of their family. So it's the kind of thing that I have so many to thank and to be thankful for, and the people who know of the hardships and the sacrifices that we went through and all. I can only say you don't even know half of it.
Say that.
And I would be remiss if I missed mentioning Mr. David Nolan, our historian of renown and so forth in the background, who took time from his busy day to be with us and so forth. So dear people, I'm just overjoyed and lost for words to describe what we went through, and especially after giving 4 years of my life to the U.S. Air Force as a college graduate, and going from a recruit to a first lieutenant, and then coming back to have to go through what we had to go through with the Klan and everybody else, and even being betrayed by the Vice President of the United States, because he only gave half of the story. Lyndon Johnson and those double-crossed us, and that we trusted him. But after they had their celebration and everything and all, where they were supposed to stay back and make sure that St. Augustine honored us by not demonstrating and all, and the ambassador of Spain and all the dignitaries with St. Augustine, and we would have talks about setting up a biracial committee. The next day we went to meet the people. We met with the mayor's secretary and her tape recorder. No one else showed. So that's the reason I was given the label of father of the Civil Rights Act, because Dr. King and other civil rights organizations appealed to me to give Lyndon Johnson, as president, a cessation period of 2 weeks before he would sign the Civil Rights Act. I said, no. We were going to continue to demonstrate and do whatever we had to do until that act was signed. And so he had to speed up the time to sign the Civil Rights Act. Wow. shake their hands and hear their personal stories or exchange phone numbers and literature and so forth. And I hope you'll have a better experience, because I reported to a reporter that I had intended to defend my life, my property, and that of my family with all of them vigor and vitality at my command. The press put it in. The doctor intends to shoot first and ask. I never said that and never would have said that, because that was not my style or my mannerism. So please, good people, pass the word that a lie went out on Dr. And that lie has lived 50 years or more and still being rewritten even by the Asala people who have taken what John Jones Smith wrote and somebody else and what have you. And therefore, it's going on. But I'm going to try to take care of that part on that picture. And also, whatever Dr. Hayling had to say, because as a first lieutenant in the reserves, with commendations from the Department of Defense for my services, I think I earned my citizenship. My sister is saying that I am remiss in not singling out Tony, Senator Hill, for special recognition, and Mrs. Gwen Duncan. Yes. And then I'll take the liberty of Mrs. Barbara Vickers. Yes. And naturally I'll have to call Arjanelle and Joanne's names and all. So please, good people, share me that privilege of at least calling those names. But many of you deserve to have your names called also. And if I ever get a chance, I'll call it.
Thank you, Dr. Hayling. How about one more huge round of applause for Dr. Hayling to be here with us today. And speaking of people in this room, we would like to say that nominations are now open for next year's class. So if you know someone worthy of that nomination, please do put in those nominations. It's been a pleasure to serve as your MC, and at this time I'd like to turn it over to someone who's been so integral in pulling all of this together, the Florida Commission on Human Relations Executive Director, Michelle Wilson.
I'm telling you, phenomenal giants. You paved the way for me to be here, standing in this spot before you today. And again, I want to say personally, thank you for all the